Now, I don't know if some of you are like me, but sometimes I am so focused that I get so trapped by being focused on a future goal that I sort of miss those aha moments, those learning moments that'll make life much easier for myself and probably more joyful. It reminds me of the story of the journalist who chartered an airplane, and when he chartered it, he wanted to get some bird's eye view picture of a fire. But he was late getting to the airport, and he's so focused on getting to the airplane that he's running through the airport not listening to what the PA was saying. But he saw an airplane with little engines on the tarmac running, so he runs to it, gets on board, and says, "I'm here, let's go." And they start flying, and all of a sudden he's getting this conflict with the pilot, because he's trying to get the pilot over the fire, and the pilot's trying to stay as far away from it as possible. Finally, the pilot says, "Why are you trying to get on this fire, over this fire?" He goes, "I need to get some pictures. I got a deadline tomorrow, and I need to get some pictures of the fire." And then there's this pause. "You mean to tell me that you're not my flight instructor?"
Our society judges us. There were cases even last year where people were trying to cross the border and would be turned away at the US because they had had some form of mental illness in the past. In particular, this woman was a writer. She had wrote a book about jumping off the Bloor Viaduct. And because of that, because she had wrote that book, the US Border Authority turned her away. That is not removing a stigma of mental illness. That's just preventing us from coming out and telling you, this is what happens, this is what we go through, this is how we are going to spend some of our years.
Don't look back. Continue down that road, but do not look back. So I put my head down, and I looked up at that motorcycle guy for a second. He said, 1 minute, 1 minute. So the gap had closed. And I had 20K to go or 10K to go, something like that. And I decided, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm hurting. I don't know if they're like 10 seconds behind or 20 or 1 minute, a minute. But I kept going. And I descended like a maniac. I swear to God. I was telling Dave earlier, like 80K an hour. It's so much fun when you're a cyclist. You got to get up the hill first. But
this was the turning point for me, because when I got to the point where I was ready to just walk away from the business, a business that I had spent the last 12 years building, growing, nurturing, working with all these people. But when I got to the point where I was like, you know what, that's it. We're just going to like shut the door, run away, close it down. It was a turning point for me, because then I didn't care. And it's not that like I don't care, like as in I don't care about the people, but I was no longer afraid to take risks. I was no longer afraid to do things differently.
And I kneel down and I look at this little boy and I ask him, I said, "Child, what's your name?" And with his eyes tightly shut and one tear rolling down, tracing a grimy path down his cheek, he says, "Ravi." Ravi in Hindi means a ray of light, a ray of sunshine. And I say, "Were you born like this, without arms and legs?" And he says, "No. I was trying to run away one day and they cut my legs off."